Hello, welcome to Mindset to Results. Our guest today is Dr. Anneli Driessen. She is founder and is CEO of International Metaphysical Academy. And today we will speak about very interesting topic, why we are here. Hello, Dr. Anneli. So nice to have you with us today.
Well, it's lovely to see you again, and congratulations to your enormous, beautiful project. It's just wonderful what you're doing.
Thank you so much. And today we will speak about this question, which I think many people ask. What is my purpose? Why am I here? How did you find question to this answer to this question?
Well, I have been doing a lot of research and studies externally, but also I've done a lot of work internally. I remember when I was a little girl, I already made a decision to do good work. I wanted to be a good girl, and I wanted to find out what that is like, and it just led me through many life experiences to investigate these questions. And I did the most work in the last 30 years where I explored more our spiritual self. And I came to some insights and conclusions that might help people to deal better with their life circumstances. And so, in my counseling and coaching work that I have been doing for over 40 years, I have been very successful in helping people to lose anxiety, get through depression, and find new reason to live, and certainly a great acceptance of why things are the way they are. Because sometimes people ask, why did it happen to me? Or why is this going on with this child who hasn't done anything wrong? And so on. These are very common questions. But to understand more about why and how we go through these experiences is something that our spiritual knowledge will help us to deal with. And then we find in a new way joy of life and appreciation and gratitude. But of course, if someone is going through a major trauma, that would be the wrong time to talk about this. There is a time and place to shift from dealing with current issues into a much bigger picture of understanding and appreciation. But that is not something everyone acquires very easily because there is resistance, there is frustration, there is hurt, there is feelings of abandonment, and all these kinds of experiences that people go through. But I just tell you the answers that I found are just so helpful. They have been helpful to me and to many, probably hundreds of people I have been working with over the years. So uh, the first thing is that why does this planet exist? Why are we here? And the message that I would like to give is to learn. We're here to learn and ultimately to purify ourselves so that we are ready to rejoin with our original source. Some people call it God, some people call it source, or all that is, or higher intelligence, or what it is, or creator. There are hundreds and hundreds of names for it, but it's something bigger than we are. And it's organized, it's just, it's love, it's something that you support in your work. In dealing with your panels, which is being heart-centered. That's a simplistic way of saying we want to do good, we want to do what's right, we want to do what helps this planet, what helps ourselves and helps each other. So that would be the first very general answer to the question that why we're here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anneli, for sharing. And you have 40 years experience. And this is, of course, such a big, big number for many people who listening to us. Maybe they don't even live so long as you have experience. So this is definitely, it is good to listen attentively and uh, discuss more with you today as you are here. How people can find themselves. Some people say, I don't know what I want. I don't know what is my purpose.
Mhm.
I met some people that they have some goals, but when you ask them what you really want, what is it, something big, they say, I don't know. Uh,
Mhm.
How you would say how they can find themselves, how they can find that meaning, yes, of their life and what they are meant to be, who they are meant to be.
Mhm. That's a very good question. And that is not, it's something that I actually have experienced quite a bit in my private practice. When I say, well, what do you want? And said, I really don't know. One of the answers that I have, and there is more to it than just that answer, I just want to acknowledge because everyone is different, in acquiring the answer for themselves. But I say, just imagine you want something, pretend you want something and make it up. Even if you're not fully behind it yet, but pretend it is, articulate it, and go for it. In the process, people often clarify what they want. And so just make it up. Go into something that seems so outrageous and crazy that it's just not possible. But that is a start to get things going. Um, but a big part of knowing why we're here and what our purpose is to acquire knowledge. It's to acquire metaphysical knowledge. And some people reach that knowledge through their own religion. The academy that we have, the Metaphysical Academy, is very faith-friendly. So we invite anyone and everyone who belongs to a particular religion or spiritual denomination of some sort, and then help them to understand the complexity, but also the beautiful opportunity we have here on this planet to get our act together. I say it in this more of simplistic ways, and look at the task at hand. Sometimes we have to deal with something that we never planned for, like an accident or an ill child or the death of a loved one. And there is something around all those incidences that we experience that encourages us to learn and do the best we know how to do to deal with this situation. That often also includes major decisions we may need to make. For example, to break up a relationship and to move on. Sometimes that is the hardest things for people to do because there are so many aspects to it. So it's major, and the work that we need to do is to look at what is the truth for me and how do I get through this with the highest level of integrity and love. Uh, that's not, again, not easy to do when we're in pain, when we don't know if we're in stand of the abyss and there's another abyss and we don't know where to jump. We don't know where to go. But there is help out there. There are people there that are available to help us sort things through and to identify what our next step may be. And if we all don't know, we have to do something and then evaluate and adjust. So it's a phenomenal thing, our life. It is so rich with many things, with the good and the bad, and we have to figure it out. We have to make a commitment first to make the best of it. It's easy to collapse, to be in the victim position, to feel hurt, to feel abandoned, to feel all those things that I think we all have experienced at one point or another. But then we need to pull ourselves up again and move forward. And that creates courage. But that's also something that helps our soul to get stronger and move forward. And I know that sounds sort of a little corny, maybe even for some people, but to understand what a soul is and what a spirit is and the difference between that is what we, for example, cover quite extensively in the academy, plus many, many, many other subjects. And so I know I'm very privileged that I have been able to acquire this knowledge and to share it with people. And that's my purpose, my mission. And I feel good about what I have accomplished so far. I'm very grateful too. Sometimes I look back at my life and think, my God, I went through so many things. It feels like 3 lifetimes, not just one. And yet when we have and reach out to that higher something that, again, for simplicity reasons, I like to call God, we do get help, and it comes in unbelievable, mysterious ways sometimes. We meet a special person, or we read suddenly a quote or an article, or something happens, and it is a trigger. It is a symbol. It is a message for us to move forward. So we have to also pay attention to what is available and what is coming our way. And that requires alertness. So if we clog our brains, for example, with lots of drugs and stuff and alcohol, we may not notice. So it's also important that we stay mentally as clear as possible and maintain our physical well-being as much as we can. So, I mean, this is all very summarized, what I'm sharing with you, and it probably is something that makes sense to most people, but it is also a major commitment. And the commitment we have to make inside is say yes, yes to life, yes to our journey, yes to our learning, yes to whoever I am, accept who I am, and make the best of it that I can.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing. You mentioned that some people think that it is not fair when small children are sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and also we, on the other side, we know that there is the law of the cause and effect.
Mm-hmm.
From your perception, how you will explain the law of the cause and effect? For example, if the child is sick, and some people look and say the child is just born, or maybe just few months
Fine.
born.
Yeah.
He didn't
That's
even do
yeah,
anything.
yeah, and I know it's not that uncommon. It's because they do not understand the larger picture of karmic laws and other universal laws that are in place. One of the things that I learned is that there is an overall reigning justice out there, which is part of the universe. And we don't know as humans all the intricacies, all the details of that. But with the knowledge, we can at least come to a place to say, I don't understand, but I know for some reason it is exactly right. That's a very high level of understanding, and also having faith into this universal system that does exist. But again, it's about knowledge, and that is something that people often don't invest in to understand more about these principles, and then build with this knowledge that sense of faith. Faith, I don't mean a religious faith now, but faith and trust in the order of things. And then the next step around acceptance is something that follows. But again, as a therapist, as a long-term therapist, I know that when a person goes through a major crisis or trauma or loss, that would not be the right time to talk about it. There are other ways to help people to get through these initial phases, and then to expand if they want to acquire more knowledge, so that whatever happens in life shifts from, oh my God, it's terrible, to, wow, that is very interesting. What is it that's going on here? What is it that I'm learning? What is it that I need to go through to make the best of this situation? What are other things that are happening? What are maybe even some good points in all of that that I may not see right now? So there are many steps to go through, and I learned that some of the wisest people that I met have gone through these processes, these inner processes of understanding more about why this and that happened. In fact, I had a very interesting conversation with someone recently who has worked 6 years on a major project. The project was around bringing people in the world together for positive things. It was major. It was a project that was developed through the internet systems that would have made it possible. And then it fell all apart when COVID started. And so it just went 3 years of work, thousands of hours put into this. And just like last week, I had a conversation with this individual and said, Anneli, I now know why that didn't work, because he was frustrated about it like for the last 5 years, right? And I said, why is that? And he said, currently the elite is trying to separate us all. And if that would have happened, they would have been after me. And I just thought, so you see now that maybe on some level you were protected, that it didn't happen. He said, yes, I just know that now. So sometimes when something's falling apart, years later, we see, my goodness, that was actually the good thing that was going on. Even though I resisted it, I retaliated, I scolded, I screamed and yelled. And yet, with hindsight, I think, my goodness, it was amazing how this was actually protecting me from something much worse that could have happened. So, and I think that kind of story probably relates to people who've gone through similar things, where something like an enormous loss happened, or an illness, or some horrible thing at the moment, that later you look back and say, well, it led me to this, or because of that, I met this person, or because of that, I started a new company, which is now more successful or more purposeful for the world, or something. But it requires a real openness and a willingness to not hang on to our anger and frustration and victimhood. It's a process that is highly individual for every person. And if someone finds a really good therapist or teacher or coach or clergy or friend or whoever, someone wise, they can get some help to get through this. And I highly encourage people to seek out people with wisdom and with knowledge when they go through difficult times, particularly now where the suicide rates have been going through the roof. People are terrified and polarized. And I mean, there's nothing new. Don't need to expand on that. This is really global right now. And for now, we need more than ever, like people like you and me, who bring people together and help them to get through their own traumas, through their own difficulties, their own pains and hurts and confusion and anxiety and all this stuff that is skyrocketing right now everywhere.
Mhm. Yes, yes, it is true. When people are in the middle of that situation, it can feel that the worst that can happen. But when they grow up from that situation and then look back, they can see that there is so much good in that situation. Because
Yeah.
of that, they became that person who are they now.
Mhm. Yes. And I know from experience and working with people that it is possible to find again this inner serenity, that inner calmness and joy of life. And it doesn't mean putting blindfolders on what's happening. It just means that something inside grows again to be strong and resilient. And that is so beautiful for me to watch and experience when I'm working with people. I always say it's my psychic pay or spiritual pay that I have. And I really don't know anything that I rather do. It's so I feel very privileged to have reached a place in my life where I can share with people and help them through difficulties. And yeah, that's uh, that's a wonderful place to be at my age. After a lot of years of tribulations and challenges and tasks and all that. So yeah,
Yeah, it is such a great feeling when you have fulfillment in life, and when you do what you do and you enjoy that, you
yeah,
so much value to people, you see results, and that what
yeah,
gives that beautiful energy.
yeah, that's so true. And you know that. I know when I met you first, what, 2 years ago or 3 years ago at a network event, I sensed that about you. I knew that, you have a huge heart. And of course we need to live, we need to bring in money and all this, but your purpose is to bring light and love to the world and peace. I know that from knowing you, and you do this with, through your venue, through your very creative way of bringing people together. And so again, congratulations. That is just fantastic.
Yeah, thank you so much. Anneli, I even thought to, I even told to experts who joined our Circle of Fame that it feels that it is not my idea. It is like God gave me this idea because I see it as such a big, huge project to bring together people who really feel that love for people, who are authentic, who come with heart and want to create impact in the world and bring them together on panel discussions so they can communicate together, they can collaborate together, and we can promote and make everyone to be seen and heard. Yeah, I think this is very big idea, and this makes me feel that I found I found something that I was looking for. Yeah,
That's
because as I
great.
said before, uh, 5 years ago I didn't know what my passion, what my purpose, and when bad accident happened, exactly coming back to what we just spoke about, when
Mhm,
bad accident happened and I lost everything, the
mhm,
houses, car, everything in the houses, everything. And that became awakening call for me. And I decided that I want to become value. I want to really find the purpose why I want to live, why how I want to become value myself, that I don't depend on material things, that even if I lose everything, that it will not kill me like it was last time, was I was so depressed and shocked, yeah, that I had that emotional impact. And that very situation, now
mhm,
again, as we just discussed, because of that situation, I went to personal development. And this is
mhm,
how I found Bob Proctor. And this is how I became Bob Proctor consultant. And this is how I am here now with you today. And when I look back, I think that that was the best situation which ever happened. Because if not
mhm,
that situation, I
mhm,
don't even know who would I be today, because that was such a big shock that it just woken me up. It woken me up, and I just started to look solution, and I didn't want to find solution outside. I wanted
mhm.
to find solution in myself. I want to become that
Oh,
person
yeah,
I meant
yeah.
to be, and really to live with passion, with purpose. And this is, I think, when again coming back now to what you just said about this project which we started, the Circle of Fame, I think this is that mission. Yeah, I feel like this is the mission. And when I look back again, I remember myself as I was a child, very
Mhm,
like small girl, and I always had that feeling that I am here for something big. I didn't know, of course, but all my life I had that idea that I want to create something big. I don't know what, but this is like 50 years of this search, and also going through so many different challenges made
mhm,
me prepared. Yes, as we said, all those things which
mhm,
happen with us, they happen for us to make us prepared for our mission. And
mhm,
bigger our mission is, bigger challenges are, because we have to grow. Yes,
mhm,
and through challenges we can grow. We cannot grow just being comfortable and when everything is good. There will be no reason for us to step into unknown and to grow. And we
mhm.
know that if we want the change always comes with the growth, and growth always comes with the change, and changes in a very, very uncomfortable. Yes, and people willingly don't want to change, and that's
But
why
no,
we have to be given these challenges when they have to
yeah.
change. Yes, when they are immersed in that situation, when they're looking for change, because there is no other way. And yeah, this is now, I think that it becomes more clear and clear, as you said, that it is not clear in the beginning, but when I connect the dots now from my past, I can see that all this were connecting, like different situations. It helped me, pushed me out of comfort zone, pushed me to grow and to look for personal development. And it was not easy because
Yeah.
different society, especially social Soviet Union, where I grew up, was
Mhm.
totally different environment. There were not coaches, no mentors, nobody even knew what personal development is. So
Mhm.
I had to pick it up everything, small steps to build that way which I choose for my life.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good for you. Uh, it's a very big journey, and there are many aspects to it. To mind comes the whole subject of intuition, of getting messages from the spirit world that guide us. It's also about an internal commitment that we make on a soul and spirit level, even before we come here. These are all subjects that, again, we go more in depth when I'm in the academy. There are things like coming here even to this planet voluntarily to help and agreeing to more learning and helping us prepare for this. We often go through very difficult things. There's also more and more knowledge about various contracts that we make before we come here, about what we want to accomplish. And there's a wide range of other options. For some, it is just to fulfill the life task of life here, and for others, it's to create something big. And there are a lot of karmic aspects as well that we usually do not understand because they are much more complex than what you mentioned earlier, cause and effect. On a more peripheral level, we could say, yeah, well, that's what's cause and effect. But this is a very large system, and what I learned was that the pieces are totally just that is, when we, for example, have here criminals, and they don't get charged, they don't get put in jail, they don't, in fact, they make more money or they support each other, whatever it is. There is a part of me that knows that, yes, they will not have the results here of their actions, but in a bigger picture, no one can run away from what they have done and what we have done, positive and not positive. And that gives me such comfort, particularly when there is nothing we can directly do here about it. I just know that everything will work out and that the evolution, God's evolution, is moving towards the positive. So what's happening now in the United States is a major shift that many other countries are looking at and say, God, I wish we would do something similar in our world. And I know it creates a lot of controversy. People are screaming and yelling, oh, how terrible is all this. But there's a lot of order that's happening again. And I know from a number of people from different parts of the world that they say, God, someone is taking charge and putting things in order. But they're afraid to say it because there's so many people who scream about it too, who don't want it. So there's so much going on, and it's like almost like major entertainment every day, if you look at it this way, of what else is happening. But coming back to what I said earlier, I know, and I cannot transfer that knowledge easily to anyone else, that everything is moving towards wholeness and balance and harmony again, even though it doesn't look like it at the moment.
Yes, there is always bigger picture, and we look at things only from our perspective because
Mhm.
we are in that picture, but we cannot see the whole. Yeah, like we cannot see the picture if we are inside. We cannot see the frame, yeah, or we cannot see the label if we are in the bottle. Yeah, so there is bigger picture which we cannot
Yeah.
see maybe now, but we can see it later when we look back.
Mhm.
Then we can understand it better why the situation specifically was given for us and what it was for, so we can learn our lesson. For
And
example,
yeah, and ultimately, I want to add what I would like to achieve in my life, and I'm getting there slowly, is that I don't have to wait too long to look back and say, oh, that was a gift, but rather being in the moment for saying, oh, this is sort of interesting. And if something doesn't work out the way I think it should work out, to think, well, for some reason it is exactly like that, it's going to be fine, and it is fine. That's a place I want to achieve all the time inside. I have it occasionally, well, actually more often than occasionally now, but that state of being, of just being in the present and appreciating the present no matter what, that's what I hope many of us, maybe all of us at some point in time, can acquire.
Yes, you reminded me about the Chinese story tale. Maybe you know about this story tale. When the person, whatever happened, and his neighbors were coming to congratulate him if it was good, and he was saying him, "Who knows, is it good or bad?" Or then something bad happened, and they came to say condolences, and he said, "Who knows, is it good or bad?" Yeah, and
Yeah.
then it was like long story that everything good later turned out to be also negative, and something was negative turned out to be positive. And yeah, this is the way how we can look at life and
Yeah.
be have peace in our mind, and again know the laws helps us
Mhm.
to live with that peace, because here when we know that there is the law of the opposite, that there
Mhm.
is exact equivalent of positive in every negative. And
Mhm.
it is just where we look. We can look
Yeah.
what is negative, or we can look what is positive. And when we put our attention what can be positive, although it is not always on the surface, you have to put your
Mhm.
focus and looking for that. And if you look for that, you can make all situations like a victory, like
Mhm.
celebrate your wins, because it will become as a milestone for you, and you grow, you just get to better understanding who you are and what life is.
Mm. Yes, 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 yes. It's so delightful to see you and to share with you some of the thoughts that we both have. And so thank you so much for having me on your podcast. And I wish you all the best with all these wonderful people you have been attracting. So thank you. Mm.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anneli. It was my pleasure to have you as our amazing guest, and I appreciate what you shared from your 40 years experience. And I'm sure that audience who listen to this episode will learn so much from what you shared. I'm looking forward to see you again in our future episodes.
Okay, great.